So I just want you to think about this one great learning or development experience, or one of the great learning and development experience. I'd like you just to spend about a minute, turn to someone, the person beside you, and just talk about that great learning aha moment that you had. Just for a minute. Those of you that learned it in a classroom from a teacher, can you raise your hand? Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Those at 6, 7. Well, those of you that learned it while completing a task, can you raise your hand? Okay, so if you look around, you see that the vast majority. Now, I've asked that question of thousands of people over the last 10 or 15 years. So first of all, it's a methodology. Secondly, it's a model. It's a model which helps us actually increase our focus and our approaches to develop not just individuals, but teams and organizations. So it's much more looking at organizational learning as much as individual learning. It's a tool. It's a tool which helps us remember and focus on outputs rather than inputs. Of course, learning is important, but why is learning important? Learning is important because of what it allows us to do. In other words, how it helps us improve our performance. 70-20-10, first of all, isn't some sort of new interface to traditional training. Traditional training will have a role in 70-20-10, but it has a small role. So 70-20-10 is a lot more than blended learning, although blended learning fits into it. Equally, and Bob will talk about this afternoon, about the 5 moments of need, 70-20-10 is not the same as performance support. Again, performance support fits into 70-20-10 framework. It's an important solution in the 70-bit. Performance support is an important part there, but it's one solution along with solutions such as challenging work, access to information when you need it, all sorts of other things as well, stretch tasks and so on. We learn through four basic elements, a combination of 4. We learn through challenging experiences. We learn through being put into a situation where we're stretched, where we're learning new things. We learn through opportunities to practice. Again, practice is really, really critical. We learn through creative conversations and knowing the right person to ask the right question. And we learn it also through reflection, where people work together, share, and interact socially. The levels of engagement with people who carry out on-the-job learning and social learning, those levels, not only does performance go up, but levels of engagement goes up. People are more engaged with what they're doing, they're more likely to stay in their job, more likely to continue to perform well.
I had a gentleman walk up to me at a conference and say, Bob, I know you. I've read your stuff. You're the guy that hates the classroom. I said, excuse me? He goes, yeah, no, I've read all your stuff. You hate the classroom. I said, I've never said those words, never uttered those words. I hate what we've done to the classroom. I hate what we ask the classroom to do. I think it carries way too much burden. A learner has to journey through 3 things to perform. Yeah, they got to know stuff. So I get that. And we do that through, here we go, training. Love it. They come in knowing, they leave knowing something. But here's the problem. That is, again, remember, if it stops there, then we did a great job, but it never stops there, does it? They want the training to equate to performance or competency on the job. We are measured by time to competency. Time to becoming competent. The problem is, in too many organizations, that happens to training, and the learner can't make it to competency fast enough. See the green check question mark? They're struggling out there, folks. Friends, this is an enabling model, not a knowledge gain model. The gist of the model is to enable learning, not just fill it up, not just pass it on. In fact, this might shock you. I care less about what I actually teach anymore. I mean, like you memorized it. What I really care about is, can you find it later when you need it to do it? And do you know how to do that? That use of the yellow-green wasn't just, the lighter green wasn't just because I like the color. We're trying to prove a point that look at how vibrant the red is. It's defined, it's rigorous, it's standard, it can be measured, it can be scaled. Look at the green after that. It's this nebulous kind of boy thing. Look at it here. It is a defendable learning strategy. How's that? Number one, it has to be embedded. That is a physical thing, my friends. Embedded means while I am doing my work, the thing is accessible. The better I can continue doing my work and use it, the better. Number two, it's got to be contextual. And more specifically, to the role I'm in and the reason I came in here. That's contextual, by the way. Number three, you only want enough to get back to work. They don't want a lot of stuff. They just want enough to get back to work, which is, we're going to talk more about this in a minute, because this is an important one. It's hard. This was the hardest thing for me to do. The first two is just window dressing, we call it in the States. You know, the first two are just operational things, closer, faster. This one's not. This is a design thing. And then last, if it's not right, they hate it. If it's not right, it has to be trusted, correct. This is a whole workshop on content management, my friends. My anxiousness about the 70-20-10 is we're going to obsess on the 70. Because it's that, and we both concur, that most powerful time of learning in the whole deal. But it gets back to my hate the classroom thing, is that what I love about the 5 moments is it says, look, no. Apply is the bullseye. I agree with that. But it shouldn't stand alone.
So with the 70-20-10, we say, okay, let's identify those critical tasks, and then let's look at how we can help people carry out those tasks in the most efficient way. And we know that if you get the learning close to the point of use, you start there and you work backwards. So I think to a certain extent, Bob's model says we build the learning out from, we start with that first bit, that's structured. I would say I don't agree with that. You don't know. I've seen the largest technology company in the world produce onboarding programs with no structured training at all. Here you are, have your iPad, here's the material that you need, get together as a group of 4, meet once a week and discuss how you're going. And the results from a chap who did a master's degree on this, and I supported him in doing it, the results were that people who were onboarded, started their job in that way, their client engagement figures were through the roof compared to people who did the initial training.
But when you design, that's not how you design. You design for the green first. Yeah. We're totally in line with this. So our feeling is that's where the red is only justified when the criticality of failure is such that someone's hurt, or someone dies, or a company's sued, or a person... In other words, the outcome is really hurtful. If it's not, don't teach it. We live in a world where information changes, depending on who you talk to, daily. And so a model that it's just, and I think that's what we would both argue, is that, we had a wonderful commiserating during while you guys were at the workshop about some horror stories we've lived of this how hard it is to get our industry to change and let go of the way we have done things. When you argue with it and you show clinical or analytical or arguable data, and the argument comes back still, well, but that's because it's how we've always done it. Even after you've shown me all these things, you proved your point, all these things. We showed 2 stories where we literally brought analytical data back to prove, and we both were told by senior folks, well, that's the way we do it.